Hello, welcome. In today's video, we're going to be working with Tarot's Minor Arcana number 10. We'll look at each of the 10s, suit by suit, and learn their specific meanings. We're also going to do a quick review of Ace through 9 before we jump into the 10s. And this is because since we reached the 10s, 10s represent an outcome and a completion. The end of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So the culmination of a cycle and the precipice of the new cycle. Well, let's have a look at our trusty chart here and do a quick review from our aces through our 9s before we jump into the 10s. And we remember that the ace represents an idea, a motivation, a new beginning, a start, that seed or that fire that's lit up within us. And our 2s represent the choices and the planning that we take based on this idea and this impetus that we have. When we move into the 3s, this means the direction that we'll take, the work that needs to be done to carry this inspiration through. And our 4s are about structures and foundations and creating them so that we can support this idea and as we move forward. And the 5s, they're all about change and how we deal with the changes and how we move forward or we don't move forward. And with the 5s being smack in the middle from ace through 10, it's the point where we're choosing a yes or a no as far as our moving forward and the choices that we have made and the planning that we're doing. And then our 6s, they have to do with relating with others and cooperating to bring this impetus into fruition. The 7s can represent that we are evaluating and reflecting where we've come in the process, in the cycle toward what the impetus started, the dream or the plan or the idea that we had. And the 7s represent some reflecting and even reviewing where we are so far. And then our 8s have to do with manifestation and they have to do with the movement. So when we get to the 8s, we know that we've been working from ace through 7, and now we feel there's more activity coming. We can feel it coming. Not quite there, but there's movement. And when we get to the 9, because the 9 represents coming to almost the end of the cycle, there's kind of this waiting period that all of this work that we put forth emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, we're at this precipice at the 9, like, how is it going to come out? And sometimes I call it the void because we might think, what am I doing here? Have I done enough? Is it going to work? But to me, that void says, energetically, physically, emotionally, you've done everything that you can do. At this point, we're waiting for the universe to catch up and bring that manifestation to fruition. And then the 10s, they're the outcome of all this work that we've done from ace through 10. Okay, so now we'll get into the meanings of each of our 10s. And we remember that 10s brings us to the outcome of what we've been working for, and it takes us into our new cycle. Okay, so let's begin with our 10 of Wands. And in this image, we see this individual is carrying a bundle of wands. There's 10 of them. He's hunched over. You can see this is a big effort. In a lot of the different tarot decks, the 10 of Wands, they might be on an individual's back that they're carrying them, or in a cart that they're pushing. And the 10s, because we know that wands are a fire suit, this is the motivation, the action that we've been taking, even the responsibilities and the heavy load that we put on ourselves. This represents that we're working really hard and we're carrying the challenges that we've set ourselves up for or that we find ourselves in. And we're carrying all the dreams and hopes and even responsibilities, because in the minor arcanas from the ace through the 10s, these really represent our day-to-day lives, what we humans go through and what we experience, the lessons that we learn and what we take with us, how we move forward. So with the 10 of Wands, we see this individual, he's carrying this very heavy load, but look in the background. He's heading home. He's on his way home. So he's at the precipice of the end of this hard work to get to the fruitfulness of everything he's worked for. So this is a really nice card. It represents that he's almost to his goal, right? So that's the 10 of Wands. 10 of Cups, we know that cups are the water element, and they have to do with love and relationships and family. And look at this card. It's probably the happiest card in the tarot. This couple, they've got their arms outreached, they're holding each other. It's like a rainbow of 10 cups. There's joy, happiness, fulfillment. They have come to the end of their working and loving to this beautiful home life, happiness, joy-filled cups. And the children in the background, they're dancing, there's a home, you can see a river. This is one of the happiest cards in tarot. And because this is the outcome for what someone has been working toward, good relations, strong family ties, fluidity, and they're going to be taking this into their new cycle. The 10 of Swords. Now, although the Ace of Swords represents a victory and success, we've learned that most of the other swords are pretty difficult cards and represent tough times. Remember that the swords are represented by the air element, and this is all about our thoughts, our mental processes, our mental landscape, our belief systems, our world views. So this air element, all about our thoughts and what's going on in our heads, when you look at this card, which is devastation, the way out of this is to clear your mind, to realize that thoughts create feelings, which conjure emotions, which shape our behavior. And as humans, we can choose our thoughts. We can choose our worldview. So not only is this a card of devastation, but I view it in a spread as a warning, a very clear warning that someone needs to change their thinking, and fast, because they could be on a path toward self-destruction, or their worldview is so dark and so tainted that there's really no hope. There's no way around it. This is the most devastating card in the tarot, and I can always see it as a warning. Just when you look at this card, don't be fretful and fearful and scared. Stop, take a beat. What's it trying to tell you? What do the cards around it tell you? How can we help ourselves mentally and emotionally when this card comes up? Being the end of one cycle and moving into another cycle, you want to set yourself straight before you take this type of energy into your next cycle. Now we arrive at our 10 of Pentacles. Pentacles, represented by the earth element, have everything to do with our physicality and our family situation, our education, our business and finance, our careers, and really our comfort, the human comforts of home. And this picture is depicted with a family. There's a child, there's an elder, a couple of dogs. This 10 of Pentacles, it's one of the happiest cards in the deck because it represents a solid home life, a happy and balanced, harmonious home life. And it's really a beautiful card. And when you think about the 10 of Pentacles and you look at this as the end of one cycle and moving into a new cycle, it can represent heritage, it can represent inheritance and legacy. And you know, if you've ever studied the Tree of Life, look at the pentacles and how they're placed in this card. They represent the Tree of Life of the Kabbala and how the Sephiroth are placed in the Tree of Life. So this card really has everything to do with how we humans are a spark of divinity, and we come from the universal oneness and are manifested into physicality. And that's what this card really represents. And I want to show you another card. This card is from the deck Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti. This is the Tree of Life, and this depicts the placement of the Sephiroth in the Tree of Life. And the reason I'm showing this to you along with our 10 of Pentacles is because this is a really great example of how there are multiple disciplines that overlap the tarot, including the Tree of Life, planetary correspondences, the zodiac, and numerology. And we will be getting into those as we progress through the series, Let's Talk Tarot. And thank you again. Please be sure and like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in our next video when we start weaving stories with our 10s.